Okay, well, welcome everyone to today's webinar, Researching Like a Pro, Browsing the Web and Accessing Digital Talking Books on the BrailleNote Touch. Just a reminder that this session is also an approved CE session, which allows you to collect your ACV REP credits. And to collect your 1 hour of credits, please listen for those opening and closing codes during the live session. You'll then need to submit these on the survey, which you will be instantly directed after this session. And also in 24 hours, you will receive an email with the link to the survey. So just make sure that you listen out for those opening and closing credits. I can't stress enough, if you're not here on time, unfortunately, you don't get your credits. It's strict rules, unfortunately.
We have our serious hats on. We're as serious as can be. We're following protocol.
Exactly. Now, before we start, I'm just got a poll to launch. So let's launch the poll. We want to hear more about you. So the first question is, which region are you attending from? We have USA Northeast, USA Midwest, USA South, USA West, Canada, Europe, or other. You could please push your votes now. The second question from that is, what category best describes your profession? Rehabilitation, TBI, AT trainer, professional student or user, support staff, or other? And the last question on here is, why did you decide to join today's webinar? Knowledge building, speaker lineup, webinar objectives, ACV REP credits, or your boss has made you?
And don't have shame. Just be honest. It's all good.
Okay, so we've got 10 seconds for you just to answer those questions.
And again, once we do that, we're going to definitely then be able to provide the opening code. So stay tuned for that, and we will get that going shortly. We'll give a few here, and then there's still a couple of people trickling in. So there again, those poll questions are up, and then we will proceed with the opening code. Do we want to end it, Andrew, and see what our responses were here?
Sure. So we have so in the regions, then we have most people from the south of USA. That is attending today. We have 36% from USA South. Follow on then, which is the Northeast USA, 24%. We have a lot of TVIs in today. So hello, everyone. And why did you decide to join today's webinar? Funny enough, no one put speaker lineup, Peter. Can you believe it?
I think we should have had Andrew's accent as a choice.
So majority of people obviously want to build their knowledge, which is great. And 8% have been forced by their boss.
I love it. All right, everybody. So we're going to get going with the opening code. And the opening code, again, you're going to need to submit on the survey that you will be directed to once the webinar is done. Again, if you choose not to, or you don't have time once we finish to take, to click continue on that survey that you are directed to via the web browser, you will receive a follow-up email at the email address you used to register for this webinar, and you can take that survey. That will be sent to you tomorrow, and then you will have 72 hours to complete the survey, and the credits will be sent to you. So your certificate of completion will come within 7 business days from when it is submitted. So we are very excited to be able to offer credits, and now we're going to pause the recording. The session is being recorded. It will be archived on our website on the Humanware Live link, which can be found on the support page. This will be archived for future reference, but we will be pausing the recording at this time to provide the opening code. So the opening code has been given. At this time, we're going to resume our recording, and we're going to dive into the content. And really today we're focusing on web browsing and for researching purposes. A lot of times as I work with users across the country, we come across learning management systems and websites and all sorts of things. And I always talk about developing good, solid web browsing fundamentals as a blind Braille user. So we really want to develop those not only when we're using our BrailleNote Touch Plus, but also when we're using other modes of accessing the web, be it VoiceOver, be it screen readers on our PCs. We need to develop good web browsing skills, and that's really what we're looking at today. And Andrew is going to bring us through a lot of the power of the Chrome browser, which is what we use on our BrailleNote Touch Plus. That is going to be, again, something that we really want to soundly develop, and then we're going to look at downloading books and accessing books from Bookshare, and I will also talk about a couple of other resources within the Easy Reader Plus application that will be very useful to you as you work in getting those digital talking books or getting those DAISY or EPUB books into your students' hands and for reading purposes. So without any further ado, Andrew, I'm going to toss it over to you, and we will dive into web browsing.
Great, thanks very much, Peter. And we didn't really introduce ourselves, so let me just introduce myself quickly.
We didn't.
So, yeah, my name's Andrew Flatres. So I'm the Braille product manager at Humanware. And obviously by the accent, I am based in the UK. And of course, we have Peter Tucic. He's our brand ambassador and lives in Chicago.
Yes, in a basement in Chicago as we speak.
So, okay, let me just quickly share my other screen. So just bear me one moment. I'm going to share my BrailleNote Touch screen.
Faith and confidence, Andrew.
Yeah, seems, there we go. Something happened there. Right. We're there. Okay, right, everyone. So I'm going to introduce with Chrome some browsing techniques, how we can browse the web with the BrailleNote Touch. And the application that we're going to be using is the Chrome application. So from that main menu, we can press the letter I to jump to the internet. That will get you straight into Chrome. But we are going to go through some basic techniques. We're going to switch between various different tabs, and I'll explain why you'd use tabs. We're also going to add some web pages to our bookmarks. So we're going to add them as our favorites. And we're going to finish off with downloading a file from the Humanware's website. So without further ado, let's go on to the internet. So I'm going to press the letter I to jump to the internet.
Chrome.
And press enter.
Chrome. Discover.
Now, if this is the first time that you've opened up Chrome, if it's the first time that you've ever been on Chrome, you may get a pop-up to say signing in with some previous credentials. So if you are a Chrome user, what's great about this is that you can synchronize all of your favorite bookmarks to your BrailleNote Touch. You just simply have to log in with your credentials here, and you'll have everything all synced over to your Chrome browser. But from here, I'm going to start to search for something. And this is something that we always get when we're in schools. The students need to learn or need to know how to find some information. Perhaps it's, what is the tallest giraffe? Or, what is the biggest biggest cow ever? Or something like that. Some really bizarre facts that you might want to try and find. So the first thing to do is to get to that search bar. Now, the first command that I'm going to use is enter with the letter O. Enter with O. Think of it as open a web page. So as I press enter with O.
Search or type web address edit box. Computer Braille is required.
Okay, so it's asking me to search for or type in a web address. So if you know the web address, you can type it in here, or search for your keywords. And you notice it mentions computer Braille. So yes, at this point here, the search is in computer Braille. So think of it in grade 1. Think of those letters in grade 1s. Very rarely would you need to put the punctuations other than full stop, of course, on this edit box. So I'm going to type in at this stage Humanware.
S deleted. Manware.com. KMware.com. Humanware search or 23%. 43%. Humanware. Google search, web view.
Okay, so at this point here, it's now searching. I've got a lot of results under the keywords of Humanware. Now, you could put in anything at this point. Those keywords, you can type in whatever you like, and then you'll get a list of all these different results. At this point here, there's various different ways to navigate through your searches. We can continue to use our outer thumb keys to jump to your next item. So as I move my furthest right thumb key, you'll see the item move.
Google account, main menu, Google search, Humanware. Search by voice, search modes, head news, list shopping, maps, images, videos, books, Flights. Search tool ads. Heading add middle.store.humanware. middle.store.humanware.com/.
So you could use your thumb keys to continue to move forward, or you can use the letter L to jump to different links. As I press the letter L, it will just take me to different links.
Link. Prodigy, link. Shopping cart, link. Low vision, link.
And there are some more that I'm just about to show you, but before I show that, I'm going to open up a page that really highlights some of the different navigable elements that we can jump to. So just maybe one moment while I open up a template page that will give you an example of some of the navigation that we can do.
Go back mobile humanware.com/80%. Web view. Buffering.
Okay.
Space.
So I've opened up a web page that I've got as my favorite at the moment, and this web page I use is a great example for showing various different navigation. Now, one of the most common ways to navigate is by heading. And what we like to do here is think of those transferable skills when you use a screen reader to navigate by those headings. You're using your number pad, or you're using those numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 to go forwards to those different heading styles. And we've brought that same effect into the BrailleNote Touch. So if you want to jump to a heading that's a heading style 1, we can simply press .1. So as I press .1, it should take me to my first heading 1 style.
This is heading 1, heading 1.
Okay. If I want to jump to around this web page that has heading style 2s, I can press .2.
This is heading 3, heading 3.
Beg your pardon, let me start again.
Top.
.2.
Web view. This is heading 2, heading 2.
And so on. So .3 would be my heading style 3.
This is heading 3, heading 3.
And heading style 4 would be .4.
This is heading 4, heading 4.
Now, if you want to go backwards by any navigation, this is where you introduce your backspace and the backspace. So here we wanted to, let's say, jump to the previous heading. We can press backspace and enter with 1.
This is heading 1, heading 1.
Okay, if I want to go backspace again, just to see if there's any heading style 1s previous to this, I press enter, backspace, and 1.
No previous heading 1.
Okay, and there's no previous one. So backwards and forwards, if you know the equivalent dot, you can go forward by that. If you want to go backwards, you press enter and backspace together. Now, some other ways to navigate around. I'm just going to go to my top of my document here. So I'm going to press space 1, 2, 3.
Top. Web view.
Now, in some cases, you may need to go to an edit field. This could be useful if you need to fill in the web page. Maybe it's asking for your name. It's asking for your address. If I need to go to the next editable field, I can simply press the letter E.
Search text field. Search text.
Okay, let me see if there's another one. So I'm going to press the letter E again.
Edit box.
And I'm going to press the letter E again, see if there's any more edit boxes.
Edit box.
So there's a couple of edit boxes. Now, if I want to go back by an edit box, again, I introduce my backspace and enter key with the letter E.
Edit box. Search text field. Search text.
Okay, so that's how we get into editable fields on a website. Likewise, buttons. Okay, so again, if there are some buttons, maybe there's a search button or an upload button, you maybe want to upload some content, we can press the letter B for button.
Search button. Click me, I'm a button, button.
Okay, I'm going to press enter, backspace, and the letter B again to go backwards by a button.
Search button.
Okay. So we have buttons, we have editable fields, we have list views as well. And there's different ways to jump to lists. So if you want to jump to a list style, maybe in this website somewhere, there is a full list that you want to jump to before going to each individual item itself. So pressing the letter O
list
will take you to the first list that it can see from where the focus is. If you then want to take yourself through those different item lists, yes, you can use your thumb keys. Again, outer thumb keys to jump to your next item. You could also press the letter I.
Coffee. Tea. Milk. 1. coffee. 2. Tea. 3. Milk.
Okay, so there's different ways to jump into list. If you want to jump to the actual style of list, you press that letter O. And if you want to go to the first or individual items in those lists, you can press the letter I. Then we also have tables. In some cases, there are some tables. And you've guessed it. What letter do you want to use to jump to table? Letter T.
Table. Students. Table. Students currently enrolled.
Okay, now if I want to go backwards by a table, again, introduce your enter and backspace with that letter T. Now, when you are in a table, unfortunately, there isn't a table navigation, so you can't go down the list. The way that it will navigate will be across. So as I go forward through my table at this stage.
Students currently enrolled. First name, column header. Last name, column header. Company, column address, column header.
So that's my sort of heading of my table. At that point, as I use my next thumb key again, it's going to give me the result. So unfortunately, you won't be able to navigate down in a column. That is something, though, however, we are looking to work on. Okay, so we've introduced some basic navigation techniques here. So the most traditional ways is using your heading styles, heading style 1 and heading style 2s. I'm going to show you how to open up a new tab and why you'd want a new tab. So like I cited peers, we use tabs for various different things, for researching multiple different sites. You know, I always use multiple tabs when I'm looking for something to purchase. Whether it's a USB headset, I look at various different websites to find the best deal. And we can do exactly the same on the BrailleNote Touch. And you can have more than one. You can have multiple tabs if you wish. Just remember to ensure that you clear them out, otherwise it gets a bit cluttered. So to enter a new tab, we can press enter,
Notification
space with the letter
Battery, Chrome.
N.
Address, column header. Support, selected. Find in page edit box, support. Computer Braille is required.
Beg your pardon, backspace with the letter N. Backspace and letter N. That creates my new tab option. Now, like before, if you then want to start opening a different web page or want to search for some keywords, you can do exactly the same as we did before. We can press the enter with the letter O for open, and we can type in some keywords here. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to press enter with the letter O.
Search or type web address edit box. Computer Braille is required.
And I'm going to type in USB headsets.
USB A D A D E T.
And then press enter.
Search or 23%. USB headset.
Okay, so I now have two tabs that's open. I've got my HumanWare tab that I went into, and I've also now searched for USB headset. And I can add multiple tabs. I can press backspace with the letter N to open new tabs. So let me do another tab, backspace and N. And this time I'm going to do the BBC web page. So I'm going to press enter with the letter O.
Search or type web address edit box. Computer Braille is required. co.co UK. Search 23%.
Okay, and I've just opened up the BBC homepage here, so it's a news web page. So I've now got 3 tabs. So how would I jump to those different tabs? Because sometimes you may want to have a look at my previous tab to see if there's a cheaper deal or the deal's better. So simply by pressing enter with 1 free, that will take you to the very, very top of your visual element. Now this will take me to my first tab that will be in the list. So enter with 1 and 3 will take me to my first view, which is going to be my tab view. And simply using my outer thumb keys, I can then jump to different tabs.
CloseHumanware.com USB headset, Google search, tab.
If I want to enter onto that, just simply press the enter key or cursor key, and it takes me onto my USB headset. If I want to go to my HumanWare one, again, I can use my thumb keys.
Humanware.com/accessible web view.
And go onto that one. Now, at this point, if you want to switch between your tabs or your toolbars, so this could be the back button or the home button or the address bar, and jump straight into your web view, there is a quick way to do that. So at the moment, I am focused in my web view, but if I want to jump to all my toolbars where I've got the address, I've got the refresh button, I can simply press my two left thumb keys.
More options, button.
Okay, so my two left thumb keys takes me out of my web view and takes me to my toolbar section. And I can use my thumb keys.
Tap to switch to download page, edit bookmark humanware.com. Your connection to this site is.
Okay, and so on. Now, if I want to go back into my web view quickly, I can then press enter with W.
Web view.
Okay, that will take me straight into my web view. Or you can use your two far rightmost thumb keys. Okay, so that would also do the same task in hand as well. Okay, so let me open up a new tab. We're going to go through deleting a tab. Okay, we're going to go through deleting a tab. So this is the Humanware Accessibility example tab. If I want to close this tab, I can press enter with the letter C.
USB headset, Google search, web view.
Okay, that's removed my tab that I was currently on, and I'm now into the next tab that is available to me. So that's how we delete our tabs. I'm going to open up a new tab, however, and I'm going to open up the Humanware's webpage because we're going to navigate to the Humanware webpage and add that as a favorite. So that's the next task. So I'm going to open up a new tab. So that's backspace with the letter N. And now I'm going to press enter with the letter O to open.
Search or type web address edit box. Computer Braille is required.
And I'm going to start to type the Humanware's website.
bbc.man/en-united_kingdom/home. Web view 80%.
Now what you'll notice there is that I only had to type in a few characters and it automatically detects. So that if you've gone to previous websites in the past, it does remember those and it brings that all up in Braille. So as you typed in Humanware, it's given me my suggestion. And all that I did then is just simply press the enter key to acknowledge that, and that page will then load. Now on the web page of Humanware, we do have this pop-up. It is a very annoying pop-up indeed, and I know that there is a button to OK it. So I'm looking for a button. I can press the letter B to jump through this site and look for that button.
United Kingdom, pop search. But like page, close. Button.
Okay, there's the close button. I'm going to press enter. Okay, so I'm now on the Humanware webpage, and I want to save this as a bookmark. I would save it as a favorite so that I can later go back to this once I've shut down my touch and come back again. So I don't have to then have to keep searching for Humanware or type in Humanware's website address. So pressing enter with the letter M will bookmark this webpage.
Bookmarked options available near bottom of the screen.
So that's now bookmarked the Humanware website. I'm going to close all of these tabs down now. So I'm just going to close these. Okay, and I'm going to open up my favorites list because I want to go back to the Humanware's website. So to open up your bookmark list or your favorites list, think of it as your favorites. It's enter with lower F. Enter with lower F. So enter dots 2, 3, and 5.
Go back button.
This will take you into your list of your bookmarks. And at this point, I can use my thumb keys to jump through all my available bookmarks.
Mobile bookmark search. Humanware.com/accessibility-examples.htm.
Okay, that was the one that we were previously on. That's the example template, but I'm not looking for that one.
Humanware.com, Humanware, home, low vision aids for macular degeneration.
That's the one I'm looking for, the Humanware home site. I'm going to press enter.
Progress bar, 80%. Humanware, home, low vision aids for macular degeneration.
Okay, and that's now loaded. Again, I get this annoying pop-up from the Humanware's webpage, and we need to get that sorted. There is a quick way to jump to the close button, perhaps, and I haven't introduced this in basic navigation, is the find. So at any point, if you know what should be on this website, you can actually find keywords. So I'm going to press the space and the letter F.
Edit box, support. Selected.
I'm going to type
Computer
close.
Braille is required. Result 1 of 167. Result 1E. Close. Button.
So it's now found the close button, and I'm going to press enter. So there is a quick way of searching for certain places where you want to go, and this could be used when you, certainly if you know that website, you know that you've been there before. There could be a quick way to just find a keyword to take you to that position, as opposed to jumping by heading styles. That could be a quick way. So on this web page, we're going to finish off then downloading a file. And then we're going to show you how to delete our bookmark page, because we've just added a bookmark and we want to delete a bookmark. And we also want to download a file. So I'm going to show you how to download a file as well. So on the HumanWare website, I am looking for a support link. Now there's various different ways of doing this. I'm going to go to the top of my web page.
HumanWare.
It's a link that I'm looking for. So I could press the letter L continuously to go forward by links. The other thing I could do is find the word support as well, but I'm going to go forward by link. Let's press the letter L.
Click here to learn more. EU.sales at feedback. Account. HumanWare. Link. Home. Link. Blindness. Low vision. Support. Link.
Okay, and there's the support. But again, I could have just pressed the space and the letter F and typed the word support followed by enter, and it could then eventually have taken me there. So there are quick ways or other ways depending on the situation.
Bar. 70%. 80%. HumanWare. Home. Low vision aids for macular degeneration. Web view.
Okay, so I'm now in the support page. And again, I am looking for another link, which is going to be about the BrailleNote Touch, because we want to select the BrailleNote itself. So at this stage, if you're new to this browser, you could just start going by headings if you wanted to. So you could press the dot one key to jump forward.
HumanWare. Support. Support. Heading support. No next heading 1.
Okay, there's no next heading 1, so I'm going to press dot 2 for the heading 2.
Heading 2. No next heading 2.
And there's no heading styles 2, so we're going to do this freeze.
No next heading 3.
Okay, so there's not many headings at this stage. It probably sounds like there could be, well, like links. So again, using your outer thumb keys, you can go forward to see where you are at this stage.
By dot. HumanWare Live Webinar Series. Dot. BrailleNote Touch Plus. Link.
Okay, so it's a link, the BrailleNote Touch Plus. I'm going to press enter.
Progress bar. 80%. HumanWare. Home. Low vision aids for macular degeneration.
And again, it opens up, it refreshes that page. And again, we're going to start with the heading style. So I'm going to press heading style 1.
HumanWare. Support. 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 No next heading 1.
Okay, there's no more next headings. Let's have a look, see if there's a heading style 2.
BrailleNote Touch Plus.
Okay, so we're now on the heading style 2, and it has picked up that there's BrailleNote Touch Plus. So at this point, I'm going to continue reading with my Braille thumb keys.
Documentation. Learning tables. Audio tutorial. Video tutorial. Getting started. Command summary. Using BrailleNote Touch Plus with TM Viewer for wireless visual display. Doc. Link. Using BrailleNote Touch Plus.
So this is the document I'd like to actually, I'm going to choose the PDF version, in fact.
Using BrailleNote Touch Plus with TM Viewer for wire.
We're going to use the PDF version because now we can open up PDF files. I'm going to press enter here.
Web view. Using BrailleNote Touch Plus with TM Viewer. Drive. Navigate up, but.
Now we'll open up the actual content. So if it's a file that can be downloaded, you will be prompted to download in which folder. But if it's an actual document like this, it will take you into a document viewer. At this stage, there will be more options.
More options button.
And you could press enter, followed by
pop-up window. Send file. Open with. Print. Feedback to Google.
Let me just double check on that. Send file.
Print. Open with. Send file.
We can open with, Andy.
Open with, that's it. Open with. There we go.
Open with. KNFB Reader.
Okay, so at this point here, you can open up for various different apps, and we're going to choose keyword.
PT Invid Office Word OneDrive keyword.
And press enter.
Alert keyword. Keyword discard. Alert keyword will now import the text from your PDF file into a new document. This may take several minutes.
And you will get a prompt when it's the first time when you've opened up a PDF file that it's going to extract all the text over.
OK button.
And I'm going to press enter on OK. And that will then open up that page.
Box using
So that's how you would open up or download a particular file. You navigate to the file, you press enter. You will, if it's a file that can download, you can actually, it will prompt you to download in which folder. I'm going to lastly finish off with bookmarking or taking the bookmark off that web page. So I'm going to go back into that web page.
Recent app edit box. Beginning of field. Recent overview. Keyword open key. Dismiss drive using drive. More options. Main menu. Recent apps. Overview.
Let's go back to Chrome. Okay, here we go. So in Chrome,
using BrailleNote Touch Plus with TM-Viewer.
Let's open up my favorites list. So enter with lower F.
Go back button. Mobile book search. Humanware. Home.
Navigate into the page. Press enter.
Progress bar. 80%.
And when you're on the page that you've bookmarked, simply by pressing the enter with M again, we'll unbookmark it.
Edit bookmark. Humanware. Home. Low vision aids for Mac.
Or we'll take you to the edit bookmark to allow you to rename, change the folder so if you wish. So maybe you want to organize your favorites in a different way. There should also be a delete button at this point. So I'm going to use my thumb keys to find the delete button.
Bookmarks.
And press enter.
Chrome. Humanware. Home. Low vision aids for Mac.
And that's then deleted the bookmark. So just to recap then on what we've learned some basic navigations, jumping by different heading styles using your .1, .2, .3, jump into tables, buttons, and controls. All of these commands are in your help menu as well. So once you are on a website, by pressing your space with the letter H, that will take you through all of these commands that we've just gone for. So remember, if you want to go backwards, you introduce your backspace and enter. If you want to add a new tab, backspace with the letter N. So you can create multiple tabs. And if you want to get rid of those tabs, we can simply press the enter with the letter C. If it's a favorite that you want to add, enter with the letter M. And to jump to your list of favorites, enter with lower F. That's it from me, Peter. Any other additional information you want to give?
No, I think you're golden. And the big piece here is just to remember that if you are needing to browse the web, and we say, Andrew says basic navigation, this is advanced sort of web browsing techniques. If you're trying to thumb key your way through a web page, you're going to have a long afternoon. And so this requires daily use. If you're using the web and you want to become proficient, working with multiple tabs, bookmarking appropriate pages, and knowing how to navigate. You won't always know when something is at something is at heading level 2. You might not always know if something is a button or a link. You need to explore, and once you do explore, you need to kind of commit that to memory, much like you would learn any new route when you're, on an O&M lesson. We learn new buildings, we learn new routes, we learn new areas every single day. The internet is no different. We're using common techniques to navigate unfamiliar environments, and that's exactly what this really comes down to. So if you're not using it and practicing, you really will find the internet a very complex and complicated place. Also, these techniques that Andrew showed, yes, the commands will differ, but the techniques themselves will apply to JAWS or NVDA or VoiceOver on a Mac. I mean, you are going to utilize these techniques to effectively and efficiently browse the web, and that's extremely important. And I'm gonna show us some Easy Reader Plus pieces with books, and then Andrew, I'm going to throw it back to him, who will talk about how do you recall, or how do we look at, outside of watching an archive of this webinar, how can you look in the HW Buddy app to find all of these commands? There are many commands Andrew didn't touch on, right? There are all sorts of things you can do with Chrome in terms of customizing your your synchronized bookmarks, or doing all sorts of things in the menus, going backwards and forwards in your web sessions, finding the next occurrence of a text word or a string of text you search for. There's so much there, and we'll show you how to find that as well. So I'm going to take over screen sharing, Andrew, from you, and I will share my screen, and we're going to talk about Easy Reader Plus. And again, Easy Reader Plus being another app that has lots and lots of resources available on the HW Buddy application. Andrew, can you confirm that you can see my screen right now?
Yes, I can.
In the Connect app. All right. And so what I'm going to do at this point, whoa, I'm flying all over the place. Give me a second. My focus is all over. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull everyone in, and we're going to have a look at my EasyReader Plus, and then we're going to throw it back to Andrew. So yes, I'm stalling because my focus just went a little wild on me. But now I'm going to reshare my screen. Andrew's going to confirm that he sees it in 2 seconds, hopefully less than that. And then we're going to get going. So at this point, do you see me, Andy?
I see the screen, yes.
All right, perfect. We're back in business. So I am on the main menu. I'm going to turn my speech on.
Speech on.
And at this point, we're going to have a look at EasyReader Plus. And we've looked at this before, but we're going to look at it from a standpoint of downloading Bookshare books, and then also knowing that there are other resources available in EasyReader that may be of use to you as you work with bringing books in to read in speech or to read with Braille. Again, EasyReader Plus is a modification of the EasyReader app for Android. We've optimized it for a Braille user, for someone who is using the BrailleNote Touch Plus. That's why it's called EasyReader Plus. And it will allow us to interface with various libraries around the world to pull in content. This is something that we can also use to gather newspapers, which I really like it for because we have Braille access to NFB Newsline here in the United States, as well as magazines and such through Bookshare and many other libraries. I'm going to open EasyReader Plus by pressing the letter E, as in EasyReader, from the main menu.
EasyReader Plus.
We hear EasyReader Plus. I'm going to press Enter, and the first time we do this, we will have to use or create a Dolphin account or a Google account to get EasyReader Plus to work. So the very first time you set this up, you will have to get logged in, and then from that point forward, you can set up your libraries, be it Bookshare, NFB Newsline, CELA, RNIB, and so on. I'm going to press Enter here and launch EasyReader Plus.
EasyReader Plus. Progress bar. Little Women.
All right.
Louisa May Alcott.
For anyone who was with us when I've demoed this previously on HumanWare Live, before we offered continuing ed credits, you will remember that I believe in one of those sessions I downloaded Little Women. But the point here is when I first launched the app, I'm placed in a list of my books, the books that I have downloaded. I'm in the My Books area of the app. If I want to move to and search for other books or enable other libraries or open up that bookshelf sort of menu, I will press the command space with B as in book. So if I press space with the letter B, I will open up the side menu or the bookshelf sort of menu here.
My Books button.
And I will be placed into the menu. And you'll hear the first option is the My Books button.
Little Women. Louisa
As I
May.
come
My Books
down,
button. Manage Libraries button.
I do have the ability to manage my libraries, so I'm able to come in and add or remove other libraries. There's other free options here. So things like Project Gutenberg, EPUB, which I've just learned is epub.com, I believe, right, Andrew? Some sort of service that provides free EPUB books. But in addition to many other libraries that you can enable. So if I come into Manage Libraries, I would be able to quickly log into and sign on to the various libraries I would like. There are also popular ones here in the list. If I press my next thumb key,
Bookshare
I'm
button.
going to see the libraries that I have, the common libraries that can be enabled. So Bookshare, the first time you activate Bookshare, it's going to ask you for your credentials. Once you put in your credentials, now at this point, again, I'm in the bookshelf, so space with B, my side menu. When I activate Bookshare, it's going to load the Bookshare interface. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to press Enter.
Waiting for.
We'll say waiting for.
Waiting for.
It's loading. And then it will load the Bookshare API here.
Search side menu button.
And it puts me right into the Bookshare interface where I can search for a book, or if I have an institutional account, which we've demonstrated previously. What happens if you have an institutional account and your student obviously can't search for a book? This is where they would access the reading list. So if I press the letter M,
My Reading List.
we hear I move to the My Reading Lists option, also sometimes spoken as My Reading List by text-to-speech for whatever reason. But again, My Reading Lists, if I had books that were assigned to me by my teacher or whomever was managing my institutional account, this is where those books would pop up. Above the My Reading List option, I have
Search in all.
Search in
Edit
all.
box.
My account is an individual account, so I'm able to search for books and browse and do all of that. Again, that is because I'm not a child in school. Many children or school-aged sort of users will be using this from a institutional level, meaning you need to have books assigned to you, and those will show up in your reading lists. Now, if I come past reading lists, I do have a couple of other options here. Let's say I don't know a book I necessarily want to browse, search for. Maybe I don't know the title, or I want to look around. If I press my next thumb key and come
My reading list.
past the reading list option,
My history.
you can see books you've previously downloaded. If you come into here,
Latest.
just press the next thumb key again. Here is latest. So what are the latest books added to the Bookshare service? Many times that's useful because books are added every day, and Bookshare is at a tremendous amount of books in its library. There was a time where it was a couple 100,000, and it has since just blown up. And honestly, I don't even know the current number. And the last time I did a webinar with folks from Bookshare, that number was, I remember, being way higher than I ever heard. So it is certainly growing a lot, both for textbooks as well as for leisure reading.
Popular.
You can come into popular, again, what's trending, if you will, on Bookshare. So the most popular, what's been downloaded a lot.
Browse by category.
And we can certainly browse by category. And that would give us the ability to come in and look at books in a given category that we'd like.
Browse by grade.
You can browse by grade or grade level. Again, these are just the basic options. So it's not always, I usually demonstrate, well, you can just search for a book and here it comes, right? And that's great, but sometimes you may want to look in other ways.
Bottom.
That's it. We're at the bottom, but let's search for a book. I'm going to press the letter S.
Side menu.
One more time.
Button. Search in all.
And I
Edit
get
box.
to the search in all edit box. And just like when we find an edit box on a web page, when we're focused on it, in order to enter text in here, we need to press enter to go into edit mode.
Search in all edit box.
All right, I am editing search in all. I am going to search for, and again, when I do this, everybody who's ever been in one of my workshops, you know for a fact, there are two books I always search for. One is The Outsiders, two is Little Women, three, which is a very distant third, but we're going to do it here today, is The Giver. All right, so we're going to search for The Giver, common 7th grade reading material here in the States. So I'm going to type in The Giver. Again, we can use literary Braille, and I know that because I have a 2-dot cursor. My cursor is both dots 7 and 8, and I don't have a computer Braille's required
Giver.
message.
Space
So
deleted.
I type it in. I had accidentally pushed space before the word the. Get rid of that space, but I type in The Giver, I press enter.
Side menu. Button.
And it's going to perform the search for my books. And at this point, my search results will be displayed in a nice, clean, linear list. These books will be in EPUB format. That's the format that we're downloading from Bookshare. Easy Reader Plus will support EPUB as well as DAISY. So we can import books into Easy Reader as well. If you have an EPUB book, it could be brought in, or if you have a DAISY text or DAISY audio file could be brought in as well. So we can also import books besides search for them. But I'm going to find The Giver here.
Book search in all. Second-rate name. Book information. Progress bar. The Giver. The Giver Quartet #1. Lois Lowry. A cube.
All right, we have an EPUB book, The Giver, Quartet #1. Again, there will be many results. Sometimes if you know your ISBN, or if you search, if you know again, especially textbooks, you'll have multiple editions and such. So we would definitely want to make sure we identify the correct book. I have also been in situations where I have downloaded books that have not been in English. I've downloaded some Spanish books in front of large groups of people, and I don't speak Spanish, but it does demonstrate that Spanish books are available, and it can really help to read the synopsis of the book. So when I press enter on this book, The Giver,
book information.
it brings up the book information. And a lot of times I say, well, I'm just going to press D and jump to download. But it would really help if I read and made sure the book wasn't in Spanish, right? So let's press the next thumb key.
Book information. Remove book. Book cover.
So we can remove this. I
The
have
Giver.
already
The
downloaded
Giver
this.
Quartet.
You'll see if it's already been downloaded, you will have an open button. If it needs to be downloaded, you will have a download button. So I thought I'd remove this, but I hadn't. You could remove this at this point here, or you can do it from your My Books list.
Lois Lowry.
If we want to open this,
Open button.
we have an open button.
The Giver. The 1994 Newbery Medal winner. has become one of the most...
And I'm just pressing backspace and enter simultaneously to mute my speech. But the synopsis is right below that open button. And I know it's not in Spanish, which if it was in Spanish and I spoke Spanish, that'd be great. But I don't. And so I know when I download this or when I open this later, it will be shown properly. So, and I actually, the Spanish books I still keep, because you can also, if you're running multiple Braille tables, you can certainly read those books in Spanish with the Spanish text-to-speech voice and so on. So it will certainly work. But I'm going to open this book and we're going to talk about book navigation for a moment.
Book cover. Remove book.
O.
Open button.
Let's open it up. While it opens,
Loading.
we're going to give it a second.
Inside this accessible media.
All right, and what happens is the text-to-speech voice is defaulting to what my system speech voice is using. And sometimes we know that that can happen. We're working on figuring out why that is. So at times your default text-to-speech voice will be thrown back to a standard a cappella voice. And Andrew might be able to shed some light on that at some point when we're wrapping up here. But at times you will notice when you open Bookshare, it is going to throw your unit into the default a cappella speech voice. When I'm in a book, the nice thing here is I can read this using speech or I can read this using Braille. I will not, I'm always asked, can we read this simultaneously? And the answer is no, because we're not able to match the rate at which we read Braille with the rate at which text-to-speech rumbles, and the way that there's no Braille teleprompter at this point in time that's going to be able to allow me to do that. But what I can do is I can quickly jump to different parts of the book. And some of this will look very similar to what Andrew showed when he talked about navigating a web page. And what I mean by that is Andrew showed us how to search for a word on a web page by pressing space with the letter F as in find. I can do the same thing here in this book. So if my class is beginning to read at a certain point in the book, and again, you would probably want more than one word, you'd probably want a whole sentence, but if I press space with the letter F,
Easy search.
I
Edit
will be
box.
brought into a search
Easy
field
Reader Plus.
where I can type in a search phrase. So if I type in a word, such as, let's just think here, in the giver, we're going to type in the word apple, because I know somewhere in that book there was an apple that was thrown and the color was seen. So I'm going to type in apple and press enter.
Apple.
It will perform the search, and any hit will be queried in a list of results where I can be brought right to that occurrence in the book. So again, much like when we search on a web page, we can go right to that word or that string of text we search for. Same thing here. If I press my next thumb key,
Clear query.
we're going to see my
Months
results.
that he had taken an apple home.
And
No one had mentioned.
this would be the first occurrence of the word apple in the book. If I press enter, I will be brought right to this page.
The gift attention.
And what
This
will
is a
happen
reminder
is,
to male 11s that
what will happen is I will be brought immediately to that section of the book where I can then start reading on my Braille display, or I can use the action button, which is located along the right edge of my BrailleNote Touch Plus, and I can press that to begin reading with text-to-speech, with the text-to-speech voice. There are many other commands here. Andrew talked about the bookmark command. So we're bookmarking a web page by using enter with M as in mark. The same thing will be true here. If I want to add a bookmark at any point of a book, I can press enter with the letter M.
bookmark added.
And I will have a bookmark added announcement given as well as shown on my Braille display. What I can also do though is press enter with M again and name that bookmark or annotate why am I taking that bookmark. So again, pressing enter with M again puts me into a text box where I can actually name this bookmark.
Edit box.
So
Bookmark.
let's name this bookmark something like remember this section,
this
or
section for
something something later on, whatever it might be. I might say remember this section for something question number 4. How about that?
question number.
Because again, I may be switching between questions and reading the book, and I might say, this might be relevant to that question. I might come back to it later. So again, I'm annotating or labeling this bookmark. I'm pressing enter.
4.
It's going to put me in. I can put multiple lines here. So again, pressing enter doesn't exactly save it. I can put multiple lines in this bookmark. If I press a previous or next thumb key to get out of this edit box,
Text note.
I will have
beginning of field.
a save button at the top of this of this page or of this dialog. I could press 1, 2, 3 with space to jump up to it, or again, use my previous thumb key and just press enter.
The giver, attention.
And now
This
my
is
book will have a bookmark called, remember this for question 4, and that bookmark will throw me right to this section where it says, attention, this reminder is to all male 11s that objects are to be removed from the recreation area and so on, right? And I can then come in and read this and work with it. So we can drop in bookmarks, they can be labeled. We can find those bookmarks. So let's just say we wanted to get, how do I access that bookmarks list? Or how do I go to chapter 6 or page 71? If I press backspace with the letter B, as in book navigation, backspace with the letter B, as in book navigation, I will jump into my book navigation area.
book navigation,
I can choose, if I come up to the top of this page, I can choose, do I want to look at my bookmarks? Do I want to navigate by pages? Or do I not want to navigate by sections or by headings, by chapters? However, my book is marked up, and all books will differ slightly. But if I choose one of those, so again, I'm going to hit 1, 2, 3 with space to jump up to the very top.
Navigate up button.
There is a navigate up button here. If I press my next thumb key.
Book navigation. Headings selected.
So right now I have my navigation level to be set to headings. That's what's going to be shown in the list. If I choose pages, I will be able to see page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and press enter on one of those.
Bookmarks.
And we will be able to jump right to that bookmark that I threw in. Again, if I select something like
pages,
if
search
my
edit
book,
box.
If my book has pages and page markup, I will even have a search box where I can press enter,
search edit box,
and type in a page number to jump to. So again, if my class is reading from page 42, I'm going to type in #42 and press enter.
List.
And it will bring up a list of pages that match 42. So page 42 or 142 or 242 or 342. And I will press enter. Again, my next thumb key to move down to my list of results.
Bottom.
If there is page navigation,
navigate up. Book
I will
headings.
be able to jump to it.
Pages. Bookmarks.
If there is not, you won't have a list
Current
of results.
page 42. Edit box. List.
And so again, if my pages are available in markup, I will be able to jump to those pages. If not, I will
Bottom.
not have any results as I do here. So this book, this version of the Giver does not have good page markup, and I might look for a different version. It's all, and Bookshare has tried very hard to get rid of and work with duplicate books and kind of clean up books that are funky or that don't have the greatest navigation experience. They've done a very good job, but when you have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of titles, there certainly are books you will come across that don't have the best navigation in them. Doesn't mean we can't navigate them. Instead of going to page 42, I might ask my teacher, well, what does page 42 start with? And then I might search for that string of text. So keep that in mind. There are other ways to get information through as opposed to just, well, there's no page numbers here and I'm gonna have a hard time working with it. Again, I said I would talk about some other ways of looking at other libraries. I'm gonna come out of here. I'm gonna press space with E. And I'm then going to turn my speech back on because I was talking and I didn't
my
want it to
progress
talk
bar,
over me.
the Giver Quartet number
I want
1.
to open up my side menu. So
my books
what I
button.
did was press space with B, and I've opened up my side menu. And I want to show you a couple of other pieces here. Again, we saw, if I press my next thumb key,
Manage libraries
I have a Manage
button.
Libraries option here, where I can come in and look at the different libraries available to me. What I want to show you, though, if I come all the way down to the bottom of this list,
Bottom. My Dolphin account button.
you have some options here related to your Dolphin account.
About and help
about
button.
and
My
such.
clipboard
But if I
text.
use my previous thumb key, I will come to
My newspapers
my
button.
newspapers. And this will be related to your newspaper accounts if you have, let's say in the States, you are receiving newspapers from NFB Newsline. If you're in, there are other libraries you can add in various countries, but this is where you could configure your NFB Newsline account and then your favorites, you know, where you can download papers to navigate and read through every single day, which is extremely useful when it comes to current events when we're in school, as well as there are many magazines available in in KNFB Reader. Geez, not in KNFB Reader, in NFB Newsline. NFB was the common thread there, but there are many newspapers available. So you can certainly come in and synchronize and look at those here in the Easy Reader Plus application. We can also bring books in. So if you have, for instance, the BrailleNote Touch Plus audio tutorial, which Andrew showed us on a BrailleNote Touch Plus support page, there is a full DAISY audio tutorial. It is, I think, 15 hours long at this point. You can bring that in and listen to that in Easy Reader Plus. You can import that file, so you would download it from the website as Andrew showed. And once downloaded from the file manager, you can open that with Easy Reader Plus and it will import. So Easy Reader Plus is not just for text books, is not just for synthetic speech. If you have DAISY audio, you can certainly bring it in. If it's, again, an unprotected sort of DAISY audiobook like that, DAISY just being the markup, you know, giving us that markup ability. So you're able to bring in and import books. All right, I am going to turn it back over to Andy for about a 4-minute, very quick sort of piece on using the HW Buddy, or as he will say, the HW Buddy app to pull up some quick resources and learn how do we refer to DAISY Easy Reader Plus commands, or all of that Chrome stuff that Andrew talked about. How do we find that in the HW Buddy app? And he's going to show us that as well. So Andrew, back to you, and then we're going to get onward and upward with a closing code, and we're all going to enjoy the rest of our Friday Eve.
Thanks, Peter. Right. Okay. So I'm just going to try and share my screen, if it allows me. Sometimes this doesn't play well. Oh, here we go. It seems like it's going to work.
Oh, the iPhone, iPad business.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm sharing my iPhone, and here I have is the new My Buddy, the HumanWare Buddy application, and it's available on iOS, the Play Store, on the Apple Store, and also on the Google Play Store. It's free of charge. And what's really great about this, as Peter was saying, it collects all of the resources, all the things that you want to find out more information or how to do certain tasks. Everything is all in this in a step-by-step guide. So there are going to be some further improvements that will be happening in the near future. There's some really interesting things about searching or finding the progression of your students' learning. So you can add future buddies or new buddies that you can see how they're doing in their different learning classes. But at this stage, I'm going to go through the how-to guides. I'm going to choose the product that I want to find more about, so the BrailleNote Touch. And there's some further categories. So we talked about the internet today. So here we have Chrome and internet. And I think there's a problem with my internet myself here.
Is it not loading?
yeah, it's a problem with my internet. So we just see if it works again. So internet, Chrome. Okay, and here we go. So we have finding text on a web page, navigating to a web page. So let's have a look at finding text on a web page, and that will open up the guide in step by step. So it gives you, number one, use the Braille shortcut space with F. You'll be prompted finding a page and so on. So it's a really clean step-by-step process. You can add them as a favorite. So if you do need to refer to this type of guide later, you can. And you can tick it off. If one of your students has already learned this, you can tick it off yourself. In a future version, you'll be able to share this document and send an email to someone or email it to yourself if you wish. If we have a look, if we go backwards, we'll go to Easy Reader, so Easy Reader Plus. And in here we have some other topics such as downloading the book. If it loads, my internet is really suffering today. Okay, searching for books in Easy Reader Plus. So we've really stripped all of the contents out of such user guide, because no one likes to read user guides nowadays, right? We all like to get to the point of where we want to go, we want to read, and we want to find that task simple. And with the HumanWare Buddy application, you can do that. If you don't want to go forward through the different products, you can actually search the product.
Yeah.
Or search when you look at. So in search, you can type search. You can choose the filter of BrailleNote Touch. And I can put in web page, for example, and it gives me a list of results, finding text on a web page, going back on a web page, navigating to a web page, and so on. So this is a really useful application available to you now. Download it. You'll also keep in touch with all of the HumanWare gossip, you know, what's happening, some new notifications on upcoming events, and possibly special promotions. So
And there will
that's
be
it.
a new version coming at some point, which we will do some feature on with being able to track progress of your students and such. So stay tuned for that. We're always looking at making the app not only receive more content, whether it's in our video section, in the how-to guides with products and guides and such, but also being able to improve the functionality so you will be able to monitor progress and do some certain things. So there will be added functionality that will come into the app as well. Thanks, Andrew.
Okay. So we have one raised hands. Okay, let me just. It's Lorelei.
Lorelei, welcome to the happy afternoon. Alt-A will unmute you. There's also an unmute button.
Okay.
There you go.
I got it.
Perfect.
So I'm wondering about okay, so for going from the tabs, the toolbars to the web view, you said it was the left two thumb keys or the right two thumb keys? Did I mishear that?
You are correct.
Yeah.
So there are a couple of commands. The left, your left and previous, or the left two thumb keys, will move you out of a web view up into the toolbar. You could certainly use the right two, meaning right and previous, right and next, that is, to move back into the web view, or enter with W will also bring you into the next web view. Sometimes certain apps, Lorelei, will have like 2, 3. Some apps have multiple web views. So though you may get, like if you're in a web view and you press, your right and next simultaneously, it might say no next web view found. You might already be in a web view. So there you may be able to move back and forward, but when you're in a web view, that indicates you can use web element sort of commands, H for heading, B for button, L for link, and so on.
Yeah, no, I'm familiar with what the web views are. I just was curious about, I had just wanted the clarification of the difference.
Absolutely. There are Braille commands for that as well. So you could use left and previous, or you could use 2, 3 with enter. Right and previous, or 5, 6 with enter will do the same thing.
And what's really useful about
Next,
what's really useful about the web views is, well, once you're out of the web views, that's when you could use first letter navigation. So there are many apps that have web view with main contents, but then they'll have tabs at the top and the bottom of the app where first letter navigation can be used. So you'd come out of your web view, you could press H to go to home, or you could press N to jump to anything beginning with that first letter.
Yep. Awesome. Thanks, Lorelei. We'll see if there are any more. If anybody does have suggestions for future topics, I know I've seen a couple float in the last little bit, the last day. Feel free to send those to humanwarelive@humanware.com.
Okay, there's a question from Jack. If a book is emailed, is it possible to just open the book in Easy Reader, or does it need to be downloaded first and then opened from Easy Reader?
That book would have to be downloaded first. So the book would have to be downloaded first because it needs to be imported into Easy Reader. So the workflow there would be to receive the book. You would download that attachment, which we have videos on how to download attachments. That attachment would go into your downloads folder. You would then move to your focus in the file manager to your downloads folder. And when you press enter on the file, you will choose to open it with Easy Reader, and it will be imported, and then the book will be usable. But you do have to download it first because it needs to be on the device in the internal storage where it then could be imported into the app. It's kind of a security method where you can't just open things directly because they need to be saved first. They can't just directly jump right into Easy Reader Plus.
And of course, it needs to be the correct format, of course.
Yes, absolutely.
Another question: best file types of books. That could be. It's an open question there. It's a number of different.
There are lots of books. The benefit of DAISY or of using books with that type of markup is that the navigability is far greater than if you just had some huge PDF file with 400 pages. A DAISY book gives you the ability to quickly move to pages or levels of navigation. Level 1, level 2, level 3. Maybe level 2 is chapters and level 3 is subchapters or subsections. Their EPUB books have that type of navigation as well. What do you think, Andrew? I mean,
yeah, I guess it depends. I mean, I'm more of a DAISY Daisy, I mean, it gives you a more navigational side of things, where you can choose how you want to navigate a book. There's nothing more frustrating if there's a book that you can't navigate by chapters and things like that.
Pages
yeah. Okay, another question. When searching a page for a particular word, say for research, for example, how do I navigate to the third or fourth occurrence?
Great, fantastic, relevant, beautiful question. So I don't know how many more adjectives I can give that one, but it's a great one. In your context menu in KeyWeb, you will see those commands. And so to go to the next occurrence, so let's say I search for the word happy, and there might be 12 occurrences on my web page. I'll be brought to the first occurrence. To jump to the next occurrence of that text string, I will press space with the letter N, as in next. And I am 97.4% sure that space with P is the previous occurrence. But until I look right now, I don't want to give incorrect information because I'm positive space with N is the next. I'm looking right now, and to find previous, it is going to be, space with P, yes. So space with P would move you to the previous occurrence if you went too far. Great question. That is an absolutely perfect way of utilizing that feature. I do that all the time as a web browser user, as a screen reader user. Search for a string of text, and it doesn't always mean the first occurrence is the right occurrence. You might need to use your next result or your next occurrence command, regardless, whatever screen reader you're on, to pull up the next result.
Okay, another question. Is it upper and lower case on the codes? I don't think it's relevant, I believe, Peter. So as long as you've got the correct code, the opening code and closing code, it's irrelevant. Yeah,
no,
it does not matter.
Doesn't matter. Words are what matters.
And I know that some of you have mentioned that they've missed the first few minutes, so you can't enter the opening code. It is a very strict policy that we're under here with the opening and closing code. So we will obviously see the timestamp that you arrived. So if you do want to query that, then please email education@humanware.com if you want to query that. Okay, well, I think that is it, Peter.
Rock and roll, my friend. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We hope you find these helpful in terms of not only having the opportunity to earn continuing ed credits, but also the content. Again, these will be on our website, on our YouTube channel. We will be putting these up. Remember, in a few seconds when this webinar ends, you will be directed to a survey. Please fill out the survey if you would like. We appreciate feedback, and we also that is where we want you to put in your opening and closing codes. Again, if you don't do that now, you can certainly do that with the email you receive tomorrow. All right.
Okay. Well, my dinner is calling me.
Dinner's calling you. We will rock and roll. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
Take
Andrew.
care. Thanks, Peter.